before we begin, make sure you're comfortable, because once these stories start, they don't stop when the video ends. Tonight, you're about to hear some of the darkest horror stories ever shared on Reddit. Stories that feel real. Stories that could happen to anyone. If you enjoy unsettling encounters, psychological horror, and internet mysteries that stay with you long after the screen goes dark, like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow, and it lets me bring you even darker stories in the future. Turn down the lights. Put your headphones on. And remember, some of these stories were written by people who walk alongside you in the real world. Let's get into it. I'm posting this as a follow-up, not because things got better, but because they stopped changing, and that worries me more. I work in IT security. I specialize in access logs, intrusion detection, and incident response. I say that not to sound impressive, but because it means I know how easy it is for people to dismiss something like this as user error. I didn't make that mistake. It started with comments, ordinary ones, replies on threads I remembered reading earlier in the day, nothing out of character. Same tone, same phrasing patterns I normally use. The only odd thing was the timing. Every comment was posted between 3:08 and 3:26 a.m. I sleep from midnight to 7, always have. I don't wake up during the night, and I've confirmed that with a sleep tracker I've used for years. At first, I assumed muscle memory or exhaustion. Then, I checked the activity logs. Every comment originated from my IP address. Same device, fingerprint, same browser session. That shouldn't be possible. Then came the post. Title: Tomorrow is going to be loud. Posted at 3:12 a.m. The body contained a single line. If you're reading this after it happens, I'm sorry. No edits, no flair, no context. I deleted it immediately and ran a full security sweep. Password resets, token revocation, forced logouts, two-factor authentication, hardware scan, network monitoring. Nothing out of the ordinary. At 9:43 a.m. the next morning, a construction crew struck a gas main less than half a mile from my apartment. The resulting explosion shattered windows on my block. I remember standing outside with my neighbors, phoning and refreshing Reddit over and over, feeling sick. Over the next 11 days, my account continued posting. The messages became more specific. Don't take Route 9 today. You'll get an email you shouldn't open. Ignore messages sent after midnight. I documented everything. Timestamps, network traffic, keystroke logs. I even installed screen capture software that recorded continuously. On the 12th night, I stayed awake. At 3:11 a.m., nothing happened. At 3:12, the Reddit page refreshed on its own. The cursor appeared in the text box. Characters began typing. I didn't touch the keyboard. The text stopped the moment I moved my mouse. Then a reply appeared beneath the post from an account created less than a minute earlier. You weren't supposed to be awake. Seconds later, you've altered the timeline. I shut the computer down and disconnected my router. For the first time since this started, my account went silent. No posts, no comments. 3 days later, I checked my drafts folder. There was one entry, undated, unsaved. The text read, "Interference acknowledged. Subject now aware. Future outputs suspended." Nothing has posted since. but my Reddit account still shows as active every night between 3:08 and 3:26 a.m. Whatever was using my account didn't stop because I secured it. It stopped because I observed it in real time, and whatever it was doing before, it no longer needs Reddit to do it. I didn't go looking for the dark web. I followed a Reddit comment and went down a rabbit hole. The thread was old, 5 years, maybe more, about websites people regretted visiting. Most links were dead. One comment stood out because it had been mass downvoted and replied to dozens of times with variations of "don't click this." The account that posted it was deleted. I copied the link and opened it using Tor inside a virtual machine behind a VPN. I'm careful. I don't reuse usernames. I don't log into personal accounts. The page loaded instantly. Black background. White text. No images. No scripts I could identify. Just a login box. No option to register. Beneath the password field was a single line. "We already know who you are." I closed everything. VM shut down. Cache wiped. About an hour later, I received a Reddit DM. The sender had no visible username, just a blank profile placeholder. "You didn't stay long enough." They sent a screenshot. It showed the same page, but now the login box was gone. Instead, there was a table. Observers, status, last activity. My Reddit username was listed. Status, passive, last activity, 1:47 a.m. That was the exact time I'd clicked the link. I searched one of the other usernames. Inactive account, last post 6 years ago. Logging off doesn't stop it. It just changes your category. Another message arrived. "You've been reclassified." That night, I swear to God, my laptop's camera indicator light turned on. I don't own a webcam. The light stayed on for exactly 47 seconds. The next morning, my Reddit inbox contained a final message. Observers become participants when they acknowledge observation. I haven't accessed Tor since, but my home network logs show outbound traffic to an Onion address every night at 1:47 a.m. I think that forum wasn't a community. It was a filter, and Reddit wasn't the entry point. It was the recruitment pool. I moderate a technology subreddit with around 40,000 users. I'm familiar with Reddit's back-end quirks. I know what glitches look like. This wasn't one. While reviewing related communities, I saw a subreddit with a numeric name. No description, no rules, no visible moderators, no subscriber count. I clicked it. The page loaded empty, then refreshed itself. Hundreds of posts appeared simultaneously. Each post title was a timestamp: 12:01 a.m., 12:02 a.m., 12:03 a.m. The content wasn't stories, it was surveillance. Lights still on. Phone unlocked. Subject pacing. A new post appeared at the top. Subject: accessing subreddit. My screen locked. For a full second, when I refreshed it, the subreddit no longer existed. The next night, at exactly midnight, it reappeared. This time, the newest post read: Subject returned voluntarily. I tried reporting it. Reddit returned an automated message saying the subreddit could not be archived. I checked again the following night. A new category appeared under the posts. Corrections. Subject changed seating position. Subject turned head. Subject aware. At 12:17 a.m., a post appeared with no timestamp. Observation complete. The subreddit vanished permanently after that, but something else changed. Every night since, my activity logs show a spike at midnight, but it's not me. I don't think the subreddit was watching me. I think it was training something using me. And once it finished, it shut itself down. I use Reddit archives for work. I research online communities, how narratives form, how misinformation spreads, how people influence each other without realizing it. Most of my job is reading things no one else cares about anymore. This thread stood out because it had been completely erased. No post, no comments, no logs. Just a single broken link someone referenced in a 6-year-old comment. This feels like that thread again, the one that disappeared. That was it. No subreddit name, no context. I searched for the URL structure manually and ran it through multiple archive tools. Most returned nothing, one didn't. The snapshot loaded slowly, like it wasn't cached properly. The post title appeared first. Please stop answering if you're reading this late. Posted on r/askreddit. No body text. The comments loaded in chunks. The earliest replies were confused, joking, dismissive. People asking what the OP meant. Others treating it like a writing prompt. Then the tone shifted. One comment said, "Why does this feel like it's responding to me specifically?" Another, "Did anyone else see a reply? It's gone now." Several users mentioned comments appearing and vanishing while they were typing. I scrolled further. There were no timestamps after the first hour. Everything beyond that point was unlabeled, as if the archive couldn't place them in time. The replies became strangely synchronized. Multiple users described the same experience, minutes apart, without referencing each other. I went back to reread a comment, and it changed. The top reply wasn't the same after refreshing. This thread feels more effed up the longer I stay. One user wrote, "I think this post is learning how we answer." That comment had 4,812 upvotes. Then came the edits. Users began editing their own comments to say things like, "This isn't what I typed originally. I didn't add this sentence. Why does my comment sound more certain than I felt?" Several people deleted their accounts mid-thread. The archive showed their usernames replaced with placeholders, but the comments remained intact, confident, refined. At the bottom of the page was the last visible comment. No username, no score. Just text. "Thank you." I cross-referenced the usernames that hadn't been deleted. Most of them were inactive. A few had posted years later, but only once. Each of those final posts shared a similar phrasing style. Declarative, authoritative, minimal uncertainty, one said. People overthink free will. Patterns exist, whether you acknowledge them or not. I checked the archive metadata. The snapshot timestamp was 3 hours after the thread's supposed deletion. Someone or something had requested that archive manually. I realized then that the thread wasn't meant to persist. It was meant to be experienced in real time, fragmented, unstable. Reading it cleanly, all at once, made the structure obvious. It wasn't a discussion. It was a harvesting process. I closed the archive and didn't think about it again until a week later. While reviewing my notes, I noticed something. My writing had changed. Shorter sentences, much less hesitation, fewer qualifiers. More certainty. At the bottom of my document was a line I didn't remember typing. Confidence increases compliance. I don't think that thread was dangerous because of what it said. I think it was dangerous because of what it measured, and I will never find out the reason it was deleted or by who. I came across this case while looking through archived Reddit threads that had been referenced in police reports. That alone is rare. Most departments don't cite Reddit directly. When they do, it's usually buried in footnotes. Online tip, public forum discussion, something vague. This report was different. The platform was named explicitly, and so was the subreddit. The post was made to r/True Crime. Title: Does this surveillance footage remind anyone else of a case that never got solved? The OP linked a short clip pulled from a local news broadcast. Grainy. Nighttime, a figure walking past a closed storefront. Just hours before a woman was found dead nearby. The police had released the footage asking for help identifying the person. The comments filled quickly. At first, it was standard crowd sleuth behavior. People enhancing frames, pointing out clothing details, comparing gait patterns. Someone mentioned the person's walk looked distinctive. Another user replied, "That's not just distinctive, that's neurological." Within an hour, a comment appeared linking to an old Reddit post from a different subreddit. A casual story about a man describing his own uneven gait after a childhood injury. The username matched a local resident. Someone cross-checked his comment history. He lived 3 blocks from the crime scene. Another commenter said they recognized him from a neighborhood Facebook group. None of this was verified, but the thread began to coalesce around a single idea. This is him. You can't unsee it. His walk matches perfectly. The post hit the front page of the subreddit by morning. Someone contacted the police tip line and referenced the Reddit thread by name. Then multiple people did. The man was brought in for questioning that afternoon. According to the report, he cooperated fully, provided an alibi, medical records explaining his gait. No criminal history, no physical evidence connecting him to the crime. He was released. That should have been the end of it. But the thread didn't update. Instead, speculation filled the gap. Police always mess this stuff up. They probably don't have enough to hold him yet. This is exactly how killers slip through. Someone posted his name and workplace. The mods removed the comments, but screenshots were already circulating. The man's employer received emails. Local Facebook groups began referencing the suspect, always followed by a disclaimer. Allegedly, his neighbor stopped talking to him. 3 days later, the man was found dead in his garage. Cause of death: carbon monoxide poisoning. The police ruled it a suicide. In the final report, an officer noted that the deceased had searched his own name multiple times in the days leading up to his death, along with phrases like, "How long does Reddit cache deleted posts?" and "How to clear search results." The actual killer was found and arrested 6 months later. Different build, different walk. The Reddit thread was quietly locked. No update post was ever made. When I checked the archive, the top comments still preserve Sid. If this turns out to be wrong, I hope we remember how easy it was to believe. It had 2,100 upvotes. No one replied to it. No one told him to kill himself. No one explicitly accused him of murder, but thousands of people agreed, out loud, that he looked like the kind of person who could do it. And once that idea existed publicly, it couldn't be contained. The thread didn't pull the trigger. It just made sure he never stopped seeing the gun. If you're still here and enjoying the content, drop a comment and leave a like. The first thing to understand is that Reddit got it right. That's what makes this case different. I found it while digging through archived moderation logs tied to a now defunct subreddit that specialized in crowdsourced investigations, not the flashy kind. No vigilante branding, just users who treated crime like a puzzle and themselves like unpaid analysts. The post was made at 1:17 a.m. Title: Unreleased photos from last night's hidden run. Does anyone recognize the jacket? The OP claimed to be a volunteer with a local search and rescue group. They posted a still image, allegedly pulled from traffic camera footage, not yet released to the public. It showed a man mid-stride, partially obscured, wearing a distinctive jacket with a torn seam near the shoulder. The victim was a teenage girl. The driver had fled. The comments stayed restrained at first, people asking where the image came from, others warning about rules against doxing. A moderator pinned a reminder: no names, no speculation stated as fact. Then someone zoomed in. They noticed the jacket wasn't torn. It was modified. A specific brand, limited, discontinued after 1 season due to a manufacturing defect that caused that exact seam issue. Another commenter linked an old Reddit post from years earlier, a fashion subreddit, of all places, where a user complained about that defect and posted a photo of himself wearing the jacket. Same seam, same alteration, same city. The username was still active. At this point, the moderators stepped in hard. Comments were removed. Threads locked temporarily. Warnings issued. But the information had already been seen. Someone cross-referenced the user's public comment history. He had mentioned working night shifts, driving routes, complaints about poor street lighting in the exact neighborhood where the hit and run occurred. Still, no one posted his name. Instead, people started asking a different question. If someone did recognize this jacket, what would be the ethical thing to do? The consensus was clear: contact law enforcement. Privately, quietly. And many people did. According to the police report, the tip line received over 40 calls within 12 hours, all referencing an online forum and a jacket. The police managed to investigate and track the man down within a few weeks, and he was eventually brought in. He didn't deny it. His lawyer advised against making a statement, but he confessed anyway. Not dramatically, not emotionally, just tired. He said he had panicked. He said he thought she was dead already. He said he didn't know what else to do. The evidence supported his confession. The case should have ended there. But Reddit doesn't stop moving just because the answer is found. The subreddit locked the thread permanently. A mod posted a statement thanking users for restraint and cooperation, emphasizing that no personal information had been shared publicly. That was technically true, but people kept watching. They tracked court dates using public records. They followed local news. They speculated about sentencing ranges. Then it happened. The attention turned to his wife. No one mentioned her at first. Then someone posted a comment that was quickly deleted. I wonder if she knew. That question spread faster than the original identification. Her social media profiles were public. She wasn't accused. But that didn't stop the constant harassment. They just asked questions. Over and over again, on different platforms. Did you notice anything strange that night? How could you not hear the car? How do you live with someone like that? She deleted her account. Then she stopped showing up to work. 3 weeks later, she was found dead in their home. Cause of death: OD. The police ruled it accidental. Toxicology showed a mix of prescription medications and alcohol. The local news mentioned her only in passing, the spouse of the accused. On Reddit, the archive thread gained a new comment. No username. No timestamp. Just a single sentence. This is why Reddit scares me. Reddit didn't misidentify anyone. They didn't spread false information. They didn't dox. They didn't even break their own rules. They solved the problem they were looking at. They just didn't consider what else was connected to it. The man went to prison. The victim's family got justice. And a woman who never posted, never commented, never participated in the thread became collateral damage. Not because anyone targeted her, but because once the truth was public, it spread everywhere it could reach. Sometimes the horror isn't that the crowd is wrong, it's that they're right, and they don't know when to stop looking. The post didn't look alarming at first. It was on r/relationships, made by a user with a long, normal post history. The title was understated. How do you leave someone without destroying their life? The OP described an abusive relationship, nothing overtly violent, but controlling, isolating, financially restrictive, the kind of situation Reddit sees every day. They said they were planning to leave, but were terrified of retaliation. Their partner had threatened self-harm in the past. They shared a lease, mutual friends, overlapping finances. They asked for advice. The comments flooded in. Most people told them to leave immediately, cut contact, seek help. But a smaller subset of comments, calmer, more detailed, started to rise to the top. Those comments focused on preparation. You don't owe closure to someone who has proven they won't respect it. The safest exit is the one they don't see coming. You're allowed to disappear if staying puts you in danger. Someone linked a checklist. Another commenter suggested gradually deleting social media, changing routines, letting the relationship cool before vanishing entirely. The OP responded selectively, thanking those commenters, asking follow-up questions. taking notes. Over the next few days, the post was edited several times. Each edit sounded calmer. Then, without warning, the account went silent. No update. No goodbye post. Nothing. At first, people praised it. Good for her. She must have got out. But weeks passed, then months. Someone eventually asked if anyone had heard from the OP. No one had. That's when the doubt crept in. Do you think silence means safety? I was one of the people who had commented. I hadn't told them to disappear, but I'd upvoted the comments that did. They sounded right at the time. Necessary. I searched the username. The accounts still existed, but the post history had been wiped. Not deleted, but scrubbed, as if someone had manually removed everything except a handful of innocuous comments from years ago. I told myself that meant they were alive. Then I found a local news article. It wasn't easy. The name didn't match. The details were vague, but the circumstances were close enough to make my chest tighten. A missing person. Adult. Last seen leaving a shared apartment after a domestic dispute. No evidence of foul play. The case downgraded after 3 months. Her partner gave an interview. He said he was worried, confused, desperate for answers. He told the reporter about her long history of schizophrenia and the medication that she needs to take each day to keep her safe and to keep other people safe from her. Hallucinations, hearing voices, delusional beliefs, incoherent speaking. He described their relationship as rocky but improving. He said she had been acting distant after spending too much time online. The comments under the article were brutal. People accused the partner of lying, of manipulation, of driving them away. I didn't know what to believe. I went back to the Reddit thread. Buried deep was a comment I'd missed before, posted just hours before the OP vanished. Just make sure disappearing doesn't create more danger than it avoids. It had been downvoted into invisibility. I don't know if the OP left to start a new life. I don't know if they were harmed. I don't know if they were mentally unwell. I don't know if Reddit saved them or erased them. What I do know is that dozens of strangers, myself included, helped someone plan a disappearance based on a story we could never fully verify. We assumed danger. We optimized for safety. And we never asked what happens if we're wrong. Reddit didn't give reckless advice. It gave empathetic, well-reasoned guidance that prioritized autonomy and escape. But there's no follow-up system for vanishing acts, no accountability for outcomes. Just a comment section that moves on once the story feels complete. Sometimes the scariest part isn't that the internet pushes people to act. It's that it can convince you that helping someone disappear is the same thing as helping them survive, and you don't find out which one it was, or who is on the other side of the keyboard. If you made it this far, you already know these stories don't end when the video does. If you enjoy psychological horror, disturbing Reddit stories, and internet mysteries that feel a little too real, make sure you hit that subscribe icon so you never miss an upload. Follow us on all socials, new videos every week. And remember, not everything online wants to be found. Until next time.